I just discovered this really beautiful place that is somewhere I pass every day by my house on the drive, but I drove inside the parking lot and I guess you can kind of see some of the beauty. And I decided to drive around just to see what was here, and I'm sitting on a nice little tree stump in this beautifully wooded area in this bright, pretty day. It's a little too bright to be facing the sun, so I'm not going to, but I was just having a conversation with somebody, and there's a building behind me, on Facebook, and we were talking about poop because we were talking about enemas, and I guess I'm pretty much the kind of person that talks about that anyway. For the most part, I feel comfortable talking about body functions, poop, blood, bleeding, getting my period. I don't know. It's part of life, so there's really nothing to be ashamed of, in my opinion. But she made a comment, and she's like, I never thought I'd be talking about poop on Facebook. And it was in a cancer group, and I wrote that cancer, how did I say it exactly? Cancer makes anything possible. And then I just was thinking about it, like, it does in a way, because once you get a diagnosis of cancer, and there's probably other things that happen, but when your mortality comes into question and you don't really know how long you have to live, it does make everything possible. I mean, the secret and the truth is that everything already is possible. But when we learn we have cancer, suddenly it puts things into perspective. And the invitation is always there to talk about poop or talk about anything personal and not look great. I have a big zit. I have some zits on my face from who knows what. I mean, I don't care. And I'm kind of the person who doesn't care anyway, but I really don't care now. It makes it so that I can just be myself, and I can be even more myself than I've ever been. And I think anybody can. But anyway, it just got me thinking, like, that's really the invitation of cancer. And there's stuff about it that sucks as well. I mean, I might have a positive, optimistic viewpoint about it right now, but I don't always. I felt like shit yesterday. I was irritated. I'm still kind of irritated, but not to the degree of yesterday. Yesterday, every sound and movement was getting under my skin, and I think that's because I'm going to start bleeding soon on top of it, and I've had trouble with my hormones anyway. I knew I was going to lose my train of thought. Oh dear. So I was saying, see, I'm free to be my bizarre and weird self, lose my train of thought, whatever it is. Yeah, I felt like shit yesterday. That's what it is. I have a rosy attitude right now because for some reason that struck me. It struck me to think that cancer is an invitation for everything. You can have anything you want. Some people get diagnoses that they're not going to live long, and they feel like they need to pack it all in. And I haven't really taken that approach. I don't have that diagnosis anyway. I'm between a 2 and a 3. And I have no reason to think I won't live a lot more years. But there is a way in which I do feel a lot more free, like I can be myself. I think I have been more myself in the last 4 months. Even though I have moments where I am, I still feel like in more situations I can just be me, whatever that is. Like I said yesterday, I was in a terrible mood, and I just was moody as hell, and that's what was up. And today I feel inspired. I went to get my second dose of Herceptin today, so I got, I think it was 370 milligrams, and it went well. I actually didn't even have one scare, whereas it's the first time I did have a scare. I felt like my heart was beating really fast, and that made me uncomfortable, and I wanted them to check my blood pressure. Oh, there's a bunch of cars and people. And I didn't have anything like that happen at all today, which was a real relief. I had a friend there with me today, and that was nice to have that company. But it went basically well. I'm going to meet with the oncologist on, I don't know, it's early next week, and I need to tell him that some of the developments, like in the last week or so, I've really felt some of that same pain in my breast, and figure out what to do about that. I don't know if I can get more doses of Herceptin. I know they have a weekly schedule, and then they have a 3-week schedule, and I'm on the 3-week schedule. So I'm not sure there's anything to do about it, but I want to let him know. And then also the referral is going through for me to go to UCSF and see the surgeon there, Dr. Alvarado. I'm going to have a consult with him and see where that goes. Hopefully I would have surgery there. It's a long drive for me. It's about 3 hours or so to get to UCSF from where I live. And after I brought my partner home from the surgery that he had and we drove an hour, I was like, gosh, the drive is a real thing to consider, because when you're in the car for a while, if you have a long drive ahead of you, it's a lot to dealing with whatever the pain is. And I actually have no idea if getting a mastectomy or a lumpectomy, if that's outpatient or what that is, if I have to spend the night or what it looks like. I haven't gotten that far in my research, so that did occur to me driving 3 hours, but like I said before, I just feel more comfortable having a system and a location that has been doing this and does this all the time. I'd rather be in a bigger institution than a small little mom and pop place around the corner. So yeah, that's all happening, and I guess I feel really good. I feel really quieted down. I feel simple. I feel like I can just enjoy the day. I can pull over on the side of the road and make this video and enjoy some of the nature here where I live. It doesn't hurt that it's gorgeous weather. It's 70-something degrees here. It feels like summer, early summer. But I've been really taking time for myself to be outside and have no digital input and no sound input. I really like being in silent, quiet space surrounded by nature. And I live in a really beautiful place to make that happen, so I'm taking advantage of that while I can. I'm also waiting for disability to arrive. It's been a 3-month process of submitting an application, getting the physician to submit what they needed to submit, and getting that whole process rolling has been, oh, there's people walking their dog, has been quite a process. So if you're also on a cancer journey, one, know that disability might be something that's available to you if you've paid into it and you were working when you became diagnosed with cancer. I want people to know that. And there's also check and see if supposedly I'm getting help from a local thrift store. They're a cancer aid thrift store, and I would have never found out about it, but they help pay for things, transportation, some chemo, various things. And so I'm hoping that they'll refund me a little bit for some of the expense that happened when I went to Carson City. So far it hasn't happened, and that has also been a 3-month process for various reasons. But I'm really grateful that there's the potential for other avenues of help, because it is a very pricey endeavor, especially if you're fortunate enough, like I am, to take some time off and heal myself and get better. And really, I'm trying to give myself a stress-free environment where I can focus on everything it takes to do the daily protocols, doing the biomat and the enema and taking the supplements, and having time just to be and not be rushing around, because my life before a diagnosis really looked like a lot of rushing around constantly, doing one thing and another thing and another thing with very little space in between. And I don't know if that's a direct, what is the word, precedes directly a cancer diagnosis, but it very well could be. I think there is a link. I actually just read this. I was reading, I don't know if it was the cortisol levels, stress. Oh, I should come across it again. It had to do with estrogen dominance and the way the body responds to stress. And a lot of estrogen dominant breast cancers Gosh, I wish I had more of the info on it. Anyway, the bottom line was that stress could lead to cancer, and I definitely think there's an association. So making the choice to slow down, to stop, to ask ourselves, does this really need to be done now? Does it need to be done at all? I think is really important. So I'm doing that. And that's what I have to say. I'm going to sit here and enjoy this beautiful area before I go pick up my daughter from school. I forgot to say when I was making the video earlier that I'm in no way subtracting from how it sucks to have cancer by putting forward the perspective that cancer is an invitation to give us anything that we want. It's not a Pollyanna silver lining. I mean, it might be a little bit of that, but I'm definitely not taking away from the fact that it sucks to have cancer. When I got treatment today, I was walking out of the center where I was getting it, and there was a woman sitting there by herself, and she had on a knitted cap, and she was digging through a basket of knitted caps. And it may not come across in this video right now as I'm telling you, but it really struck me. It brought tears to my eyes, and there was a lot mixed in. The frailty of being a human, watching this woman sit there by herself, and just imagining what her life is like and having no idea what that is. And I know a lot of people deal with a lot of horrific situations having cancer, but I'm just trying to present, it's just a perspective, the perspective that none of us know when we're going to die anyway, so why not use this opportunity to live life to its fullest, to do things we wouldn't normally do, to be who we actually are, to not give a shit if we usually give a shit, or maybe to give a shit if we never give a shit. It's basically all bets are off, so let's live this life that we have. So anyway, yes, cancer's a gift, and yes, cancer also sucks. So I wanted both to be known, because I'm definitely not a Pollyanna-ish, oh, just focus on the positive. I don't believe that. I believe, focus on having a balanced viewpoint, focus on what's real and what's true, and I think both are true. So I needed to say that just in case it landed like some way of it being Pollyanna, because I definitely am not of that opinion. So I feel better now. Thanks.